I'm back. Rodrance for the Black and White Network. Well, we're going to talk about something that I talked about a lot when this channel was Rodrance. And when I was still covering politics over here, the one thing I really talked about a lot was the McCloskey's case. That's right, the couple in Missouri, right outside of St. Louis, one of the suburbs, that, of course, saw the violent mob come marching through as part of the BLM/Antifa protesting last year. And, of course, those people got dangerously close to their land, in some cases actually putting their feet over in the land, etc., etc. Now, the leftist media won't always tell you these things. And, of course, they came outside and they had their guns. They went and got their guns. They exercised their fundamental right to defend themselves in their home and their property. And, of course, it became a national story. Why did it become a national story? Because of a very radical DA up there, prosecutor Kim Gardner, whose campaign was funded by George Soros. Just keeping it real, keeping it honest here. So now Missouri is holding a hearing to see if the McCloskeys can actually get their guns back. They still have their guns. The prosecution, that side up there would like to destroy their guns, and they have a right to get their guns back. By the way, we're still talking about brought their guns out on their property and never once fired at anybody. Okay? And I said this is the most perfect case of how gun rights are supposed to work. There's a threat. You're able to show the ability to defend yourself and your property without there ever being a shot fired. It worked to perfection. But the fact is, the McCloskeys, they felt this was a political statement. The DA did, the prosecution, against the right to mob, essentially. And you're supposed to just let people destroy your property. That's what's happened in Democratic areas, and St. Louis is a Democratic shithole now. Plain and simple, it has been for a while. Missouri hearing held on McCloskey's bid to get their guns back. That is Fox News. City of St. Louis has not destroyed guns seized months ago from the couple who made headlines by waving their weapons at a racial injustice protest. And the couple is trying to get them back. Robert Durker of the city councilor's office told a judge during a virtual hearing Wednesday that the guns were taken in 2020 from Mark and Patricia McCloskey have not been disposed of, according to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Obviously, with our customary efficiency, we should have destroyed the weapons months ago, Durker said. We haven't. So the McCloskeys, a beneficiary of bureaucratic, I want to say ineptitude, but in any event, fortuitous that the weapons still exist. The McCloskeys, both lawyers in their 60s, said they felt threatened by protesters who walked onto a private street during global protest that followed the death of Fentanyl Floyd. Mark McCloskey emerged from his home with an AR-15 style rifle. Patricia McCloskey waved a semi-automatic pistol. Photos and cell phone video captured from the confrontation, which drew widespread attention, made the couples heroes to some and villains to others. No shots were fired and no one was hurt. The use of weapons led to charges should have never been charged. And the McCloskeys both pleaded guilty in June to misdemeanors. As part of the plea, they voluntarily gave up the guns. Republican Governor Mike Parson granted pardons weeks later. Mark McCloskey, who is running for Senate as a Republican, sued St. Louis, the city's sheriff, and state to get the guns back. He said Wednesday's hearing that the pardons also entitled the couple to refund of their fines. Quote, the loss of that property would certainly be a legal disqualification, impediment, or other legal disadvantage of which I have now been absolved by the governor. Therefore, the state no longer has any legitimate reason to hold the property. In other words, the governor let him off, which he should have. With a pardon, he should get his property back. The city councilor's office contends that Parsons' pardon obliterated the conviction, but not the plea agreement in which McCloskey's forfeited the guns. And the judge took that under advisement. So, you tell me what you think. Do you believe they should get their guns back? I do. I mean, the governor pardoned them. I still don't understand why they were taken away. You have to understand, this entire case was no more than political theater. Okay? That prosecutor up there wanted to make a name for herself. She's already got a name with law enforcement up there, okay? They can't stand her. Why? Because an unbelievable amount of cases goes before her that she decides not to prosecute. Does that sound familiar? Crimes being committed, lunatic DA leftist prosecutors not prosecuting criminals. But yet, she wanted to appear brave, stunning, and courageous to the radical left by going after a couple that showed their firearms to defend their property. A right as a United States citizen they should have. It was nothing more than political theater. I'm glad the governor stepped in and pardoned them. And yeah, I think they should be able to get their property back. I don't know if they will. I really don't. This is crazy. This was always crazy. This should have never happened. Look, it was a private drive. Those protesters should have never been allowed in there to begin with. And a lot of people said, well, the protesters were peaceful, of course. Well, the protesters in St. Louis just days earlier had killed David Dorn. Not very peaceful, if you ask me. Just saying. Tell me what you think. Black and White Network fans, peace. I'm out. Till next time.